Alright guys, so now we finally get into all of the classes that are in Circus Electrique. So I haven't done this in a couple of days simply because I thought there was more classes than like these 15 that I have here, but apparently no, there are only 15 classes, and even though we play as the Lion Tamer, which is the niece of the uncle who is the circus master, but even though she is a lion tamer herself, I mean, she's not really a lion tamer, she's like a journalist who has a lion, but I thought that's a thing because that's a class because it's like referenced all the time that there is lion taming in the game. So I thought that would be actually a class, but unfortunately, not. Robotic bear is a thing, but lions are not. So here we have 15 classes, and we're gonna go through them one by one. I'm gonna hopefully go through them quickly so that we don't take forever to get through all 15. So let's go. I have Balthazar and Bender here for the Strongman. I mean, overall, the Strongman is a really good, really average, like above average, good overall class. Like so we have front blow, spine breaker, boomerang, weight throw, ground shatter, show off. If you go here, stunning attack, everything else is covered, but of course I'm not gonna show you guys all of the skills for every single class because you need to actually get them. Like, there are more than 6 skills per class, and you only get 6 of those skills. I think it's like 8 or 9 in total, and then you pick 6 from them. So for the Strongman, like front below is like the crucial basic, very basic, very good attack. When you first get it, it only does damage, but after that you get your precision boost and critical chance, so that's good. But but I think most of the time you would use spine breaker because it just does more damage. Even though there is a precision penalty, there are ways to go around that, and sometimes this 12% is not that bad. You do miss quite often if your devotion level is low, so your devotion level does impact your accuracy. So that's one way that you can increase your accuracy, just by being more devoted or having more faith in the circus. You can have more accuracy, so that's one way of doing that. But after, I believe, rank 4, you do get this devotion cost associated with the skill. So even if you miss, your devotion goes down by, I think it starts at 2% and then 4, 6, 8. So that's a thing, and well, there is a way to get around it, which is, and this is for all of the classes that have this devotion cost thing. So this mannequin here decreases devotion cost by 7 to the owner's skills. So on certain classes where you use a lot of the skills use devotion as a cost, this would help a lot. 7 devotion is a lot since you are not using your skills once per battle, you're using them multiple times. So this would help with the devotion thing, because as you use more devotion, your accuracy gets lower. You're just more like the enemy also is damaging your devotion as well. So sometimes it just gets sort of really messy. It can get really messy really quickly. So this would help a lot. But of course, if you have like the human cannonball or the kangaroo fighter, it would help you. But we'll get to them. So yeah, just Strongman, very nice, very solid frontline unit, and can also serve as the third position with the wave thrower and boomerang skills if you're in need of a third positioner in the early to mid game. I think like in the late game like in like chapter 5-ish, there are just better other classes that can serve as the third liner. Next up, we have the Fakir. The primary healer of the whole circus. There isn't another healer in this lineup here, so you use the Fakir. That's why I have 2 of them, even though they're not the special character ones. I just have 2 of them just rotating around. Like, you need 2 of them because sometimes you have 1 in the circus, or sometimes you have 1 in just in the medical bay, the sleeping quarters, just to rest up and get more health before fighting again. Sometimes you do need that, even though they can heal themselves. It might not be a good idea in some cases because you do want you do want full HP in case the enemies attack first and they target your Fakir, so that your Fakir just dies. That's a problem. So this restoration is pretty much all I use. There is this sword swallow, which 100% chance to stun the target. I mean, even though it says 100% here, this is still a percentage, so the enemies can have stun resistance. The downside of this game is that you can't really check the enemy stats at all. So, or I haven't figured out how to check that stat. But the downside is that you don't know which target you can stun and which you cannot. So this is not like guaranteed a stun for the target, but in like early mid game, you do get the Fakir as, I think, the first class outside of your basic 4. So the basic 4 is Strongman, the Fire Blower, the Clown, and I think the Escape Artist, if I'm not remembering it incorrectly. But yeah, so so the Fakir, pretty good. So you would want to have a Fakir in your team on every single fight. So be sure to pick up at least two of them just to rotate them around. And then I think if you want to have every single class, having 2 of them is sufficient, and then you can just rotate them. So the skills, this blowpipe is good. So like decent damage. Like sometimes the enemies can have resistances, but most of the time anyways, you're just doing the restoration with, I mean, it's 49%, and you're guaranteed to have, most of the time you would have 100% devotion because of this passive, so receiving any damage increases his devotion. So you're most likely gonna take damage from the enemies, and I mean, with Sword Swallow, you would take damage yourself, but most of the damage would be from the enemies, and then so even if the enemies decrease your devotion, if they ever attack you, your devotion just comes back, and then you can just heal yourself with this restoration. This is at level 9, so in earlier levels, this percentage will be lower, but this percentage in the blue here, that's not gonna lower. It's always 12%, so it's a lot. Yeah, it's just a lot of healing. Alright, next we have the Illusionist. I mean, this is the actual first boss, so it's the first boss of the first chapter. It's like a major milestone, major wall that you have to break. I did lose once. I did get team wiped on this boss, so yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, be sure to bring, like, play carefully, I guess, and also like equip your gadgets, even though these sometimes the gadgets are not very they seem very minor, but it can help. And so yeah, but overall, as a character or as a class, this all in the earlier levels, like, he doesn't do much damage, but then the later levels, like, he is actually one of the better, like, backline units. I think all of the backline units are pretty good. Like, out of everything here, so in this game there is a front line, there is a healer, backline, and then like middle. People who are in the middle are very supportive. They're either supportive in the literal sense of healing you, or they're the supportive in like debuffing, buffing, etc. So Horus is a backline, in my opinion, but he can also like, if ever the enemy moves him, or moves your team in general, he can he would be able to switch spaces, but he can't be switching spaces to the last position. But yeah, but even if he doesn't move, the apparition can hit everybody from everywhere. So that's a very good skill. And other than that, he has this skill. It's not a great skill, but like, it's like, because he has a backline, like, you cannot argue otherwise that he's not a backline. So that's why I don't have this skill at like maxed out, because you have to be standing in the front to hit the back. Yeah, which is very rare cases. And then that's why, like, the saw, the glitter is actually, like, you have to be really, like, careful on your target, because If you miss, you're just wasting your turn, and the enemy can act, and you are also wasting your devotion. So that's a thing. It's just really some bad. Like it's just bad. So anyways, we have the saw, hoof, which is like just a neglected skill. There's basically no use for this. Electric hands, which is a pretty decent attack skill, but like I said, he's not really a frontliner. That's my card. This is pretty good if the enemy has a buff. That buff is automatically removed, and then put on one of your units. So it's really good on taunt units, on anybody who has an attack buff, any sort of buff. So whenever they buff, if you're playing the Illusionist on your team, just use this skill, and then you just take the buff away from them. And then especially for taunt, right? Because if the enemy has a taunt, which is annoying, and you want to get to their actual damage dealer, then you want to remove that taunt, and then and actually kill their damage dealer. And then apparition for AoE, and glitter as a stun. Alright, pretty good, in my opinion. Like, still like a B-ish. I guess I should rank these. So B+ for the Strongman. I guess, and of course S tier for the Fakir. B-ish for the Illusionist. And then we get on to the Ventriloquist. I don't know how I feel about this class, because it's just kind of a useless class, in my opinion. Or it's just very hard to play, and I'm just not very good at it. But it's like all of these skills are kind of supportive, either buffing your units or debuffing the enemy. So we'll go through them first. So smash, just a basic attack for just anything. Like it's of course a pretty necessary skill, because sometimes you do want to deal that final damage to kill some enemy, and then like your ventriloquist is up, and then you don't want to use any of your other attack skills that drains your devotion. This will bring me onto like Mark. You can only do that in the last spot, which is kind of a moot skill. And then Betray. This is, I guess, pretty good. So for the special characters, they have this this passive skill, which halves the strength of all of your skills, but they affect all the enemies or your friends. So the whispers being like, so Betray, evil laugh. I think it is a whisper. Like, so this affects everybody. Feel invincible affects everybody. Otherwise, if it's a normal character, they only target one person. But the thing is, like, especially for the mind control here, if you target everybody with a 32% chance, it's fine. It's like not bad, but it's not great. Most of the time you're gonna miss anyways. And it costs a lot of devotion. It's bad. It's just not really doing much. You are nothing. This can be actually pretty good, but the problem with this skill is that you have to use this skill in the front and targeting the back. Kind of a bad skill. Because you're not gonna be. I mean, you might stand on the second position, but you have to be targeting the back, and then the back line they flee or they die, and then you have no target. Evil Laugh is, I think, good, but it's pretty good. But the thing is, it actually decreases all of your friendly units' devotion. And then you cannot decrease this devotion cost with that mannequin thing. You cannot do that. So whenever you use this, you're just decreasing everybody's devotion by 9%, and then it's just. I mean, why are you even using this? It's not like you're doing damage that ignores defense, but it's not a lot of damage. So take it for what you will, but it's not very good. And then I guess the Feel Invincible is the only good one. It boosts devotion, reduces all damage. So this whenever I am playing the Ventriloquist in a battle, this is the only skill that I'm actually using. Sometimes I do use a Betray just to test my luck, but other than that, maybe you're nothing if like you do it and then it's fine. That's not great. So we're gonna give him a C- or even a D. We're gonna put it in D. Let's put it in D. Alright, next up, Fire Blower. The Fire Blower is one of the tutorial classes, one of the first classes that you get to see, and in my opinion, it's like the most basic, but the most effective class backline unit that you can have in this game. It's not like the best backline, but it's like really good. And then especially in the early game, the burn damage can be ridiculous. So I actually don't have. Let me see if I have a fire blower. Okay. We can see like the other. I can show you guys some of the other skills that for the other some of the other skills for the classes, like the dance here and hit yourself for the ventriloquist. I think hit yourself is actually pretty decent, yeah, pretty decent skill, and the dance, I think these two are pretty good skills. It's just that for Clayton here, do I have it here? Oh, I guess I do have it. Hit yourself and dance with Hakim. I've tried it and it's pretty good, but it's not like, it's still a support class, right? The ventriloquist is not, you can't expect him to do a lot of damage. So as for the fire blower, we're gonna just spend some money. It's fine. So this skill here is really good. Like it's really good early game because it leaves a trap on the ground. and because it can burn the enemy in the early game, it does enough damage so that your other units can kill the enemy before, and then all of them move up, and then the next enemy gets burned as well because there's a trap on the ground. So this is like a really good early game skill, and then as you move on, of course, there are like this skill falls off, and then you have to resort to other skills like the fire whirl, the fire throw to decrease to kill them or decrease their devotion. Like flame blow is not very good anymore because it's not doing that much damage, and then it's just not very good unless you have a special character with this passive that permanently that deal permanent fire damage over time. So when they are burnt, they're burnt forever until they die. So this is a good way to just ignite them and then let the dot damage do its thing. But overall, I think the fire throw is gonna be really good because it does a lot of devotion damage, and then you can just get the enemy to flee instead of just killing them. Because so sometimes like you can always expect to have 1 or 2 units that have like 50% devotion or like around 50% devotion. So, and this is like throughout the whole game, even like early, mid, and late game. So you can always use this, and then in conjunction with some of the other units that you have, like for example, the Strongman with this ground shatter, it decreases everybody's devotion by 5% to the enemy. So there's some that, and then you just accumulate your devotion decrease, and then you can get the enemy to flee instead of actually killing them. So yeah, let's say I'll put the fire thrower. I always call it the fire thrower. So yeah, let's put the fire blower in rank. Let's put her in A. Alright, next up, Acrobat. The Acrobat, it's pretty good, in my opinion. Like you can, but it's also really squishy. The squishy part is a problem. But like she is a middle liner, but you can like her skills like this skill here, electric ring, plays a trap, and then it actually reduces the devotion of the enemies, and also for 2 turns instead of just 1 turn. And this is important because you like the enemy, even though this devotion is temporary, you can still stack up your other permanent devotion skills, and then you can this would still count towards getting to 0. So this is really good. And then also if the enemy moves or they die and then someone else moves onto the trap, well, they're gonna get this devotion decrease as well. So that's a really good skill. And then as you move her to the front, this back flip kick, it does a lot of damage. Even though there's a devotion decrease, you do have the mannequin. And then yeah, just pretty good overall. So I'm just gonna go faster on this. I'm noticing the time here. It's just I'm not even halfway here. Yeah, let's put her at. Okay, let's put her at A. Pretty good. I would use her if she is not injured, but she does get injured pretty frequently. And then you can see level 9 and only 98 base HP. This 140 is because of the heart here. That's why the heart is really important. Yeah. I'm not sure if the game has a golden heart. Maybe. I just haven't seen it myself. Alright, next up, the Stilt Boxer. You get this class pretty, I think, after chapter 4, like when things start to ramp up. But yeah, like pretty good. It's one of the classes, one of the enemies classes that you can see you can actually fight, and you would know what you're expecting because the enemy does that to you. But of course the enemy always does more damage than what you can expect from your own units. So we have like the straight jab, straight damage here, dive. This dive is really good because you are moving the enemies, and then you can pair this up with, for example, like trap skills, like with Ming, with Naval, or with like the Acrobat with this electric ring, or with the fire blower when you have that fire ring thing. And yeah, so you can actually pair, have like a combo type skill just to mess the enemy up. And then of course every class has a stun attack. This is what I was saying, that if he is standing in the back, he can do the skill which buffs all allies devotion by 19%. So this is a straight up buff. It's a straight up increase. There is no turn limit, so it's not temporary. It's permanent devotion buff. But the limit is that he has to be sitting in the last position, which is limiting because all of his other skills are can be played in other positions. Has to be played in other positions except for the windmill punch, which has a 1 turn delay, but it does a lot of damage. So there's a trade-off there, and sometimes you do want to charge this up, just simply because you're not killing the enemies in 1 turn, or even in 2 turns. So you can do like this massive attack. Yeah. So let's put him or her in B. Let's put her in B. So it's good. Crit chance. There are different passives that you can get. These passives are not. I think it's this crit chance is specific to the Steel Boxer, but this one is not. So, whatever. Maybe like you do get a crit chance, and then you can crit on your windmill punch, which can be deadly. But overall, her damage is not that. It's not a lot, so take it what you will. Alright, next up, Escape Artist. I think the Escape Artist is one of the first classes that you do unlock. So one of the beginning classes that you'll get to unlock. So so you're like stuck with her for the whole game. But there are good sides and bad sides. For example, if you're playing in the rain weather, she is really good because of this. Because all of her attacks are like this: the release here, this lock throw. These are thunder attacks, which are really good in the rainy weather. So you are doing more damage. And also like the handcuffs, because in the early game at least, this does like a devotion decrease of, I think maybe like 20, I don't know, like something like 10%. If I don't really know how much it is at level 1, but you can get to level 2 pretty quickly, and then this is probably one of your main skills that you will be using, because it prevents the enemies from attacking, and as well decreasing the enemy's devotion. And in the early game they don't have much devotion at all, so whenever you use this, like, so you can actually just use this and the enemies will just escape, because they would have less than whatever this threshold is. So you can just basically not even fight the enemies and just get them to escape, and it's just a very good skill. Of course, later in the game they have more devotion, and then you have to plan out your actions a little bit more. But yeah. Still, like, other than that, other than the fact that it's pretty good in the early game, in the late game, or even the middle and late game, it's like she just doesn't do anything, and she is only good in the rainy battles in the early game. In other battles, she just doesn't do any damage. She just doesn't do anything. I feel like she's just like there. Like, I feel like the escape artists, along with like this Ventriloquist, they're just support characters. She is pretty tanky. She can serve as a tank, but she's not like tanky as a strongman, or like she does pretty good at some things like the devotion decrease, but I don't know. She doesn't do any. She doesn't have any like debuffs or buffs to the team. So yeah. I would just put her at D. I mean, I would argue that the escape artist is definitely better than the ventriloquist. I feel like I just couldn't make the ventriloquist work at all. Alright, the knife thrower. The knife thrower is pretty good. Like, they do a lot of damage. A lot. Like, even without the special character, the bullseye does a lot. Ignore this part later, ignore this part, but the bullseye does a lot of damage, and then like, they're pretty much the backline of the strongman. They are, or I think they are they are the best backline damage person, like better than the fire blower. Like when you're playing the fire blower, you're kind of using her as like the devotion decreaser, um, as well as the damage, because she does damage, but there is also the devotion decrease that you can also lean on. But for the knife thrower, it's pure damage. Like there's a lot of damage. Now getting into the special character card, this is crazy. you're okay. All of your attack skills are basically doubled. So like what? Because like especially for the bullseye, you're throwing 2 daggers, which means like two of these damage, and for the cost of 1. So even in the late game, like chapter 6, even in chapter 6, the enemies at most, the backline enemies at least, at most have 150 HP at most. Most of the time, like backline enemies, squishier enemies, have less than that. And if you throw this, like over here it says 59 to 69 plus 15 to 17, you're basically doing 100 and what, 110? No, 120 to 140 damage. Like, so plus that, so like you're basically one-shotting the enemy at this point. Of course, the enemy has resistances and all that stuff, but like you get what I mean. So it's crazy. This is just insane. Pin down, same thing. Deals twice as many daggers. So, and in this double shot, you throw 2 daggers, and you throw 2 extra daggers. Okay, so for the other one, same passive here, but just like a delayed. I don't know why it's delayed, but there's still a delayed attack. Yeah. Yes. I don't know what's the difference between this attack and this attack, because they basically do the same. I guess this attack doesn't have the devotion cost as well. It does more damage, but you do have to wait for it. Anyways, yeah, so knife thrower, very good. I think like especially for the character cards, and of course I am including the character cards in my evaluation because they're in the game and they're just a better version of the original of the base cards. So knife thrower, of course, S tier. Alright, talked about that. Talked about Bender. Next up, Snake Charmer. Okay, I feel like Snake Charmer suffers the same problem as the Ventriloquist and the Escape Artist. It's just, God, like, she does things. I think she is actually like decent. You can snake herself, like into position, into doing some damage. But like this is probably the best skill that she has. Of course, like I didn't actually get this character card of the Snake Charmer in the early game, and I just had normal Snake Charmer, and then I didn't know that this Snake Sneak is a thing. It's actually pretty good damage. I didn't even know that there is such a thing, such a skill out there. Like, you're doing damage, you're doing some front load damage, and you're also doing some poison damage, dot damage afterwards, which is pretty good. The cost is not that bad. 5% is not a lot. Of course, a trap laying skill as well. This pretty nice, pretty decent skill. This is useless. They're like, even if they attack Raja, they're just doing, or even if they attack your Snake Charmer, they're just doing a lot more damage than what she can reflect or what she can retaliate. It's just not very good, not very useful. This mind control actually can work pretty much, like, maybe like it says 2 out of 3 times that it can work, but you would be sad if it doesn't work. Grip, yeah, just some damage, some good damage, and reduce precision. Actually, sometimes you do want to reduce their precision so that your team doesn't take damage. Overall, though, it's a Snake Charmer. It's a very still a support character. Support in the meaning of like a buff character, buff slash debuff character. Doesn't bring a whole ton to the team, so let's put her at a C. Alright, we're finally getting to the human cannonball. It's... I mean, like, what can you say? Like, when you're playing the what would you call that? These ones, the Bishop's Brawlers, or these, what do they even call these? Like the waves thing, the waves battles, when you have to survive for 15 waves with your team. It is best. It is, of course, very valuable for you to bring a healer, which is, as you can see here, I have the Fakir, but of course I have the human cannonball as well. This human cannonball is insane just because of the parade thing. 16% or 17% devotion straight up. Like, come on, like, and it buffs everybody, so it's not as much as the Stilt Boxer with the 19% at level 8, but she can do it in 3 spots. So meaning even if she is at the back, she can do it. Middle 2, she can do it. So very flexible, and then it can counter the enemy doing devotion damage on your team. And believe me, like, in the late game, the enemies can do AoE devotion damage. Like, okay, they can do AoE damage HP damage plus devotion damage plus dot. And all of them are crazy high as well. So yeah, it's just like there's front load damage, there's dot damage, and there's devotion damage. So yeah, so there's that, and I mean on the top of my mind, there's that rat person that releases a lot of rats, and then there's that there's that taunt lady that taunts, and then you're all sad after she taunts. Anyways, those are two enemies that I dread facing every time I get into a battle. So other skills: normal cannon shot, very basic skill. Big shot is one of the 2 charge skills in this game, besides the Stilt boxer, the windmill punch here. And well, Gertrude here has suppressive fire, so it prevents enemies from moving, and water cannon to remove all positive effects. Rose here has artillery, which is an AoE shot, and also reduces devotion. Oh, I just noticed that she doesn't have the human cannonball skill. Okay, but yeah, there's also the human cannonball skill. Does a lot of damage and moves the target, but of course there's a devotion cost. So for the special characters, they have this damage increase by 20%, and for all of them, they have this stance thing. When they're in a stance, the damage they receive is halved. So you can actually do the big shot, put her in the front position, and they can soak up some damage for you because of this. This is considered a stance. This charging, so when she's charging, it's considered a stance. Oh, I did forget to mention that for the Strongman, or the special character here, Bender, he has this damage is increased by 25%, so more damage. More damage is always nice to have. Alright, well, human cannonball, definitely S tier, must have. Like if I can, I would always put one in my team, but I would also want to level up the other characters, so that's why like you can't really have her in all of your battles, and of course she gets injured, and then etc. So and you do want to level up your other characters, because one of them is definitely reserved for Fakir, and then you have 3 other left. One of them is definitely going to be reserved for a Strongman, or the next character we're going to talk about. And you have 2 other left, so one back-ish unit that primarily deals a lot of damage, and you have one more, so that one more can either be a human cannonball, or it can be some other character that you want to level up. So yeah, still very good character that I would bring in every single fight if I can. Alright, this is just this robot bear is just like, I don't know, like it's just insane. Like it's insane that they don't give this character to you in the early game, because this is just a better version of the strongman. Because okay, the thing is, you do have to put like this gramophone here, yeah, and it has to be a gold gramophone to prevent movement. So this is like needed so that he doesn't move from his first position. But he, like, if he is in the first position here, which is here, when Kit, or no, it should be Kit. That's not pronounced kite. When Kit is standing on slot 1, absorb 20% damage dealt against any teammates. And then the other one, notice it's the health too. Kit heals 15% health at the start of its turn on itself. So basically, you're absorbing damage from your team, and then when your turn's up, you just heal it all back. Like, just a meat shield, like, you cannot ask for a better meat shield than the robot bear. Of course, this is a special character, and let me actually check if I have a robot bear here that I can just reroll until I get one. Okay, so you do get the thick skin skill, but you don't get the healing skill. So, I mean, this is why you try to get as many special characters as you can. And you always want to fight in those bars. When you come across them, you want to get the special characters, because they're just a better version of the normal characters, like, period. There's no downside at all. Yeah, so still, you block the damage and then you heal it back. Like, his skills aren't actually that interesting. Okay, normal attack skill, damage boost skill, a bear trap that doesn't do much, but it does hit the backline, so something to remember, I guess. Like a charge attack that in case like the enemy moves you and then you're moved to the backline, and then you can't, like, you can just kill the enemies instead of moving to the front. You just charge, and then you push the enemies to the back, or you just kill them, and then you do a lot of damage as well. Care Bear, and then Hibernation. This is a healing skill. You do heal a lot, but I haven't found my robot bear actually getting below 50% HP. I mean, otherwise, like, I mean, you always have like a Fakir. I mean, I always like to have a Fakir in my team, so whenever he's damaged, I just use the Fakir to heal up. Like, the Fakir is 50%, like, the Fakir can just heal 50% of his HP, and since he has 232 HP, every time he takes some damage, it's like, he's not taking any damage. It's not taking a lot of damage because of the defense. It's a lot. He has a lot of defense. He has, like, just a lot of also put a lot of protection here, so it's not taking damage at all. And then he's healing 15% from this. Yeah, I've never seen him below 50% in all of my battles. So very good robot bear. But considering that this is a special character here, and this bare necessities is actually pretty crucial in the thick skin being actually good. Like the thick skin is good, but I'm saying that this bare necessities is pretty crucial to making this like great. So I would, on average, I would put the robot bear at an A. Let's put the robot bear at an A. Not really quite S tier yet, but just simply because this character is, I think, without a doubt, S tier. But the normal robot bear is like fine, not that's great. The clown, I think you do start off the game. The tutorial is a strongman and the clown. I have fired my other clowns after I got this special character clown. So the because like I just find that after I got the Fakir, the clown simply lost its purpose. You can use the clown as a tank. You can see that the clown has more HP than the strongman, which is actually pretty ridiculous. So you can use the clown as a tank, and but his attacks are not as strong as the strongman. So But he does have this boss throw, which decreases the enemy's devotion with their stat. So then you compare him with the fireblower, with your escape artist. Who else? With, I guess, your strongman. If you're playing both strongman and clown. But yeah, clown kind of fell off. Of course, you would need this healing ability when you first start, because like before you even unlock the Fakir. But after Fakir comes in, the clown just falls off. Yeah, like you're not using the clown for anything other than the healing. And maybe like for those moments where you don't have a tank, because either they're in a circus, they're in the circus, or they're getting healed, you can use the clown as a temporary solution, as a frontline unit. Of course, if they're ever moved to the back, this is a good skill. Still, even though it costs devotion, it's still some healing. Alright, two more. Juggler. I mean, from my experience, so you unlock the Juggler at level 8, I believe. Level 8, you unlock the Juggler. Level 9, you unlock the robot bear. And then level 10, you unlock the balancer. It's like one of those late game classes that I haven't played around with too much. But from the few battles that I have with the Juggler, It doesn't seem to be too good, but of course, like all character cards, the Juggler has this skill, a special skill that is pretty important. So all of Charity's attacks have a 100% chance to break the target's stances. So stances, I think stances include taunt? No. I believe there's damage reduction stance. I forget. Anyways, so pretty good, but not very. And also, yeah, this inspiration increases damage by 50% as long as Charlie has any kind of buff on herself. So she has a buff, moves forward wipe by one slot, reflects damage. That's a buff. Now these are all normal attacks. So normal attack, 3-pin throw, throws 3-pin at one, throws 3 pins at the same time, and then yeah, just it's not like it's more damage. I feel like the 3 pins, like when you add up the 3 pins, they add up to this number here. It's not a lot of difference. That difference is not. It's just not a lot. Okay, deal some damage. Some chance of getting poisoned, and we have this retaliation. So any missing enemy attack against an ally is retaliated. Very edge case of this ever happening, but so I don't think a very good skill. But of course, she is a backline, so you just throw your pins. You can be a pretty good like last position with the frisbee. Does quite a bit of damage and has a chance of ignoring the enemy's defense. I mean, by the late game, the defense on the enemies get pretty high, so ignoring the defense is actually pretty crucial sometimes. Yeah, so Juggler, I would say I would just put her at a C-ish. Didn't really stand out too much to me at all. And finally, we have the balancer. So to be fair, I actually never even played around with the balancer. By the time I finished the game, I'm only at level 9 for the circus. No, actually, I got to level 9 for the circus, and then I had to actually grind my way up to level 10 to actually unlock the train to get the balancer. So you get most of these. I mean, some of these classes you get from the train, and other classes you get them from just natural story progression. You unlock the Illusionist from the first boss, Fakir from your travels. So let me start from the beginning. So Strongman, your beginning character, tutorial character, clown tutorial character, fireblower tutorial character, and I believe escape artist also a tutorial character. And then you get to your first boss, which is an Illusionist. You get your first Illusionist, and then that's how. And then you go on your travels. You get a Fakir, and then you move on and travel a bit, and then you get the Ventriloquist, similar to the Fakir. You just fight them, and then they give up, and then they join you. And then you beat, and then you don't unlock anything for it's the Snake Charmer. You also get the Snake Charmer from the travels. And then Snake Charmer and Knife Thrower, I believe you get both of them from your travels. I think you get Knife Thrower first and then the Snake Charmer. And then after you beat chapter 4, you unlock the Human Cannonball, the Stilt Boxer. So those two classes are from the after you beat the what's his name again? The fat dude, who's the facade of the Circus Electrique, or the ringmaster of the Circus Electrique. Anyways, you break their goggles and you free them from the circus, and then that's how you get these two classes. And then you go and then I think everything else you get them from the train. So I think at level 5, let's see, level 6 or level 7, you do unlock the Acrobat first. So I think maybe level 7, level 8, level 9, and level 10. And yeah, so let me get into the Juggler, or the Balancer. Balancer, you see the Balancer when you're playing, like the Balancer is an enemy in this game, but you can also unlock them. So you see the enemy doing these two things to you, like a kick, sonic boom that stuns everybody, spin kick, dealing a lot of damage to 2 targets. That's just really good. Raining arrows. This does some damage 3 times to 2 random enemies, and it decreases their devotion as well. It's like you see this. I've seen this skill used on me like a lot, and then like sometimes when the enemies does that to me, I usually just die because this damage is way more than what it says here, 18 to 21. I usually see like this number being like in the 30s or even in the 40s and hitting 3 times. So yeah, I've seen push up, just a buff, damage buff. Glue, well, just retaliation. I feel like there's a lot of these kind of retaliation moves, retaliating any enemies who are moving. Like I don't even get why this is a thing. But I mean, I guess enemies do like they have moving skills, so it prevents them from using moving skills. Immune to all traps, so that's the thing. Similar with the fire blower, immune to fire damage. Similar with here, immune to movement. Yeah, immune to movement or stun. And I think that's about it. I think that's all like immune stuff. But yeah, that's I guess I should give the balancer a rank. Let's put the balancer. I would just put him at not tested yet. But if I really want to give him, it seems like his skills are pretty good, so I'll put him at an A. Alright, so that has been all of the characters, the classes in this game, Circus Electrique. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It has been more than an hour. Oh my god, every time I get into one of these things, I always go on and on about them, and then it just gets insanely long. I do apologize for that, but there just are a lot of details to be said and then to consider for each and every one of these classes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video if you liked it. Otherwise, I will see you guys all next time. Peace.